made you scared of your own father? I was 16 when my dad finally came home from prison after being framed for second-degree murder. I hadn't seen him since I was a child, and my 10-year-old sister Elena didn't even recognize him. On the other hand, my mom was practically beaming. "My love," she exclaimed as soon as he walked in the door. I just waved, and Elena whispered, "Hello, sir," in a voice so shaky it broke my heart. "You used to call me daddy," he replied, tearing up. He didn't even acknowledge me. The next morning, I found him sitting at the kitchen table staring at Elena's elementary graduation photo. His shoulders were shaking, and when he looked up at me, his eyes were red. "One day late," he kept saying. "They let me out one day late because of paperwork, and I missed it." Mom tried to comfort him, but he just kept repeating how he'd promised to be there. After a few weeks, he seemed to be settling in, though. Or as settled as you can be after spending over 10 years in prison, lol. He made it his mission to make up for lost time. He volunteered for every single field trip and signed up to be room parent for Elena's 5th grade class. He'd pick her up from school every day with some new toy or treat. Mom thought it was sweet how dedicated he was. I felt a little jealous that Elena was getting the father I never had, but I figured it was better one of us got him than neither. But then things started feeling a little off. He quit his job at the warehouse because he said it interfered with Elena's schedule. When she wanted to go to her best friend's birthday party, he made up some excuse about needing family time. By October, he was sitting outside her classroom during tests. The teacher, Ms. O'Brien, pulled me aside one day and asked if everything was okay at home. Apparently, Dad had been showing up during Elena's lunch period and making her eat with him in the car. The other kids had started teasing her about it. Elena begged me not to make a big deal out of it, so I didn't. But things got worse after Thanksgiving. He threw out all of Elena's clothes and replaced them with little kid stuff. Sparkly unicorn shirts and Velcro shoes, even though she'd been tying her own laces for years. When Elena complained, he said those other clothes were too grown up for his baby. He made her wear her hair in pigtails every day, just like in her old school photos. Well, there's no one I love more in this world than Elena. So when she fell asleep, I confronted him. "Frank, my dad's name. What are you doing? This is what fathers do. I need to make up for lost time," he interrupted. I wanted to keep pressing, but that's when tears started streaming down his face. "My own baby called me, sir. I have 2 years before middle school ends. That's all I get. Please don't take that from me, too." His voice dripped like honey, but I should have known it was laced with venom. I just nodded and decided to trust him. Big mistake. I was packing Elena's lunch for school the next day when I heard weird lullaby music coming from her room. I went to check on her and my stomach dropped. Elena was cramped into a toddler bed Dad had bought, her legs hanging off the end. She was sucking on a sippy cup while he read "Goodnight Moon" in this creepy baby voice. My hands were shaking when I pulled him into the hallway. "What the hell are you doing to her?" He just smiled like nothing was wrong. "This is how she needs to sleep, like when she was little." But seeing my 10-year-old sister forced into a bed meant for a 3-year-old made me want to throw up. But I knew if it was me against him, I'd lose. So I recruited for backup. And a few days later, we had a family intervention. My Uncle Carlos organized it at my grandmother's house. The whole family showed up. I didn't expect them to press him as hard as they did, but TBH, I was glad. Uncle Carlos used to be a cop and he was the harshest. Told him he'd call his parole officer if this behavior didn't stop immediately. My Aunt Maria was screaming about how he was destroying Elena. Dad completely lost it. He fell to his knees clutching Elena's baby photos he'd brought with him. "You don't understand. I already lost 9 years. 9 years of bedtime stories, birthday parties, teaching her to ride a bike. I didn't even have time to breathe before he started ripping Elena's big girl clothes off. These aren't for babies." She was screaming and hitting him as he tried to put a Dora shirt on her. Carlos and 2 other uncles managed to pull Dad off Elena while she ran sobbing into my arms. Grandma called 911, but Dad grabbed his car keys and bolted before they arrived. The cops said they couldn't do much since he hadn't technically committed a crime yet, just a family dispute. Mom was in complete denial. She kept saying he was just overwhelmed and needed time to adjust. She refused to change the locks or get a restraining order. Elena started sleeping in my room with a chair wedged against the door. For 3 days, everything was quiet. Dad didn't come home, didn't call. Mom said he was probably staying at a motel to cool down. I wanted to believe her, but something felt wrong, really wrong. Then Thursday came. I came home from school to an empty house. Elena's stuffed animals were arranged in a line like they were marching out the door. The security footage from our doorbell camera showed Dad carrying Elena to his van. She was completely limp. On the kitchen table was a note in his shaky handwriting, "Making up for lost time." Full story on channel, link below.